Welcome back to Christian Questions on News Talk 102.3 FM WXLM. Our subject this morning, was 9/11 the beginning of the end? To be a part of our program, call 860-442-6102. That's 442-6102.
And Jonathan, as we further develop this, we talked about some Bible prophecies that talk about trouble, and we look at 9/11 as part of that trouble, not a specific fulfillment of a specific prophecy, but part of the overall larger picture. And there is a story, an event in the Old Testament, I think that really helps to put this thing into a perspective, just a very large perspective. So folks, if you are following along with your Bible, turn with us to Daniel, the 2nd chapter. We're going to read 45 verses of this. We'll stop in between and sort of put it in context. But this is a prophecy that takes world history from the time of Babylon to the institution of God's kingdom. This one prophecy in a very dramatic story and a very dramatic event. So let's take a look at this. Daniel chapter 2, verses 1 through 45. We'll start by reading verses 1 through 11.
In the 2nd year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed such dreams that his spirit was troubled and his sleep left him. So the king commanded that the magicians, the enchanters, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans be summoned to tell the king his dreams. When they came in and stood before the king, he said to them, I have had such a dream that my spirit is troubled by the desire to understand it. The Chaldeans said to the king, O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will reveal the interpretation. The king answered the Chaldeans, This is a public decree. If you do not tell me both the dream and its interpretation, you shall be torn limb from limb, and your houses shall be laid in ruins. But if you do tell me the dream and its interpretation, you shall receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore tell me the dream and its interpretation. They answered a second time, Let the king first tell his servants the dream, that we can give its interpretation. The king answered, I know with certainty that you are trying to gain time, because you see I have firmly decreed, if you do not tell me the dream, there is but one verdict for you. You have agreed to speak lying and misleading words to me until things take a turn. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can give me its interpretation. The Chaldean answered the king, There is no one on earth who can reveal what the king demands. In fact, no king, however great and powerful, has ever asked such a thing of any magician or enchanter or Chaldean. That thing that the king is asking is too difficult, and no one can reveal it to the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with mortals.
And so, Jonathan, we have this dilemma. Now imagine being one of these Chaldean guys and waking up and basically having your life on the line here.
That's right.
That your king is saying, I've had a dream, it's troubling me, I can't remember the dream.
I want you to tell me what it was.
I want you to not only tell me what the dream was, but I want you to tell me what it means.
Yep.
And you're going, okay, Mr. King, sir, with great respect, I'd like to say that unless we know what the dream is, we can't interpret it. The king is like firm. He's saying,
that's not good enough.
Yeah. No, I want you to tell me what the dream was and tell me what it means. So this is a very difficult circumstance to be in, and they're saying their response is can't be done. We don't know. We can't find this dream. It's beyond our power. So let's continue the story.
Because of this, the king flew into a violent rage and commanded that all the wise men of Babylon be destroyed. The decree was issued, and the wise men were about to be executed, and they looked for Daniel and his companions to execute them. Then Daniel responded with prudence and discretion to Arioch, the king's chief executioner, who had gone out to execute the wise men of Babylon. He asked Arioch, the royal official, Why is the decree of the king so urgent? Arioch then explained the matter to Daniel. So Daniel went in and requested that the king give him time, and he would tell the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his home and informed his companions, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, and told them to seek mercy from the God of heaven concerning this mystery, so that Daniel and his companions with the rest of the wise men of Babylon might not perish. Then the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision of the night, And Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel said, "Blessed be the name of God from age to age, for wisdom and power are his. He changes times and seasons, disposes kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. To you, O God of my ancestors, I give thanks and praise, for you have given me wisdom and power, and have not revealed to me and you have now revealed to me what we asked of you. For you have revealed to us what the king ordered."
So here, Daniel gets together with his Jewish cohorts. Now they're from Israel. They're captive in Babylon, and they are part of the people that are supposed to be executed. They're wise young men.
Their Babylonian names: Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego.
Right. And Daniel's Babylonian name was Belteshazzar.
Right.
But it's interesting that he's never called he doesn't allow himself to be called by that name.
That's right.
He's Daniel. But he is amongst those who is going to be executed, and he says, look, God can take care of this. So he prays with his friends.
That's right.
And that's an interesting concept. He prays with his friends, and this thing is revealed to him by God. And then at those last few verses you read is a wonderful prayer of praise to God for being all-powerful. And see, we're not just looking at the prophecy here. We're looking at the story around it, because this is important. Daniel recognizes God as all-powerful. Now, think of the context.
All-knowing.
Right. Daniel's a captive in Babylon with no end in sight to this captivity, and yet he is recognizing God's great power and all-knowing wisdom as being over everything. And I think that's an important factor as we look at the further development of this particular event. So let's continue.
Okay, so we are still in Daniel chapter 2, and now we'll start with verse 24. Therefore Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon, and said to him, "Do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will give the king the interpretation." Then Arioch quickly brought Daniel before the king and said to him, "I have found among the exiles from Judah a man who can tell the king the interpretation." The king said to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, "Are you able to tell me the dream that I have seen and its interpretation?" Daniel answered the king, "No wise man, enchanter, magician, or diviners can show to the king the mystery that the king is asking. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries, and he has disclosed to King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen at the end of days. Your dream and the visions of your head as you lay in bed were these. To you, O king, as you lay in bed, came thoughts of what would be hereafter, and the revealer of mysteries disclosed to you what is to be. But as for me, this mystery has not been revealed to me because of any wisdom that I have more than any other living being, but in order that the interpretation may be known to the king, and that you may understand the thoughts of your mind."
So here, Daniel, this young man, is brought before this mighty, mighty king. Now, Daniel's life is on the line. And as he's brought before this mighty, mighty king, the king says to him, "Are you able to tell me the dream that I have seen in my mind and its interpretation?"
His answer is no.
He says, "No, I can't." He says, "No man can, but God can." So, Daniel, this young man, is very careful to make sure he's putting the credit for this not on his own shoulders.
That's right. He's very humble and very reverent at the same time to God.
And he's telling him that God is disclosing to you what will happen at the end of days. So he's saying God is giving you a panorama of history that is yet to be unfolded, which is pretty amazing. And he's talking about this. So the king asks him, "Okay, what is it?" And Daniel's not giving him an answer right away. He's setting a context. And it takes a great courage to be able to do that. Here's the dream now.
Daniel 2:31. You were looking, O king, and lo, there was a great statue. This statue was huge, its brilliance extraordinary.